The French president is calling it a small revolution for prevention. As of January 1st in France, condoms will be available free of charge in pharmacies. This woman says it's a good idea and will help young people who have trouble paying. Now, the goal is to reverse two trends. On the one hand, use of contraception is dropping, while the number of sexually transmitted infections, or STIs, is growing. Some French health officials call it an explosion. Chlamydia cases jumped 15% last year. In fact, since 2015, they've doubled. France has already made condoms free for young people with a prescription, but it didn't appear to be working. This pharmacist says doctors weren't prescribing condoms often enough, and right now no one has enough money, young people especially. Now, the battle against STIs is on here in Canada as well. Earlier this month, Atlantic provinces announced an initiative to make STI testing more accessible. They'll be available at pharmacies. It's a growing problem in this country as well. Over the course of a decade, from 2010, chlamydia cases jumped about 60%, gonorrhea by about 175%, and syphilis by close to 400%. Alex McKay is with the Sex Information and Education Council of Canada.
Sexually transmitted infections have always been a much more significant threat to public health than much of the population realizes.
McKay says the pandemic likely made the problem worse. There wasn't as much STI testing, and the more undiagnosed infections in the population, the easier STIs spread. McKay points out the French government is also focused on sexual health education.
The French are already ahead of, in many respects, ahead of where we are. So that's another area that we need to focus on.
Now, there has been some criticism of the free access to condoms policy in France. Some argue the government should be worrying about bigger priorities. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.